those were the fights.
Yeah.
Like in the prelims.
Yeah.
So
they also did a lot of it was Mexican Heritage Month or night, or so they did a lot of cool visuals of that. I think Rey Mysterio was at the fights as well, representing Mexico.
so
So
that guy's everywhere.
yeah, he gave Dana White his mask. Welcome back, sports fans. My name's Cody, and this is Don, and we are the Out of Bounds Sports Podcast. Today we've got episode 20 of our weekly series. 5 more topics for those you don't know. 2 minutes a topic. Don will kick us off in a minute. We've been doing this for 20 weeks now. We love this podcast. Some cool, interesting headlines. We had some UFC this past weekend. Lots of NFL action. And a little bit of CFL as well. So we'll get into it right away. Don, what do you got for number one?
Well, number one, I want to talk about the disappointment of the Tom Brady performance, let's say.
Okay.
Now, like, I know the guy is an absolute perfectionist. That's why he had the career that he had. Okay? Take care of his body, take care of his mind, take care of everything. So he had about 18 months to get prepared for his first game, which was the Dallas game. I was kind of disappointed because it was bland, it was boring, I actually had to turn the game off. I couldn't even stand it. Now, I know that it's an extremely difficult job to do. And it does take practice and it does take training. But this guy's making $35 million a year doing this. He signed a 10-year deal. And I wouldn't be surprised at all if after this season now, if Fox doesn't see how they can get it out of that contract. Because even if he gets better, he's still not going to be good.
I don't know. I disagree with that. Like, I think they're obviously paying him for the draw, right? It's Tom Brady. They want to hear the best player of all time, the greatest player of all time, to broadcast the games. They want to hear his opinion. So I think, like 2 games in, it's a little bit of an overreaction, but
no, because
I understand he was a little bit soft in the first game.
No, but okay, but yes, it was his like first game. But if you look at Greg Olson's first game or Tony Roma's first game, everyone's saying these guys are the best ever. Expecting a little bit more from Greg.
That's another overreaction.
Next.
All right, so more NFL action. This week's action-packed with NFL, and we've got the Thursday night game, and Tua Tagovailoa with a nasty hit. Not a nasty hit, but a nasty fall, which led to another concussion. Here, that's 4 in 5 years, 3 in Miami and 1 in Alabama. So another scary sight. I think it was 2 years ago in 2022 when he had that big hit, where you could see immediately that he was pretty much stiff and completely out cold. He looked out cold in this one as well. And Damar Hamlin was the defender, not a dirty play at all.
Nope.
In that situation, any quarterback's got to make the conscious decision to slide. Especially quarterbacks in general, but especially someone with a history with head injuries like Tua has. It was just, they're right by the end zone, and they had more plays to go. So disappointing for Tua. He's meeting with a neurologist later this week. They're going to take this very slow. I could see him being out for a couple weeks now. It'll be interesting to see what the NFL has to say about him and playing going forward, because everybody's it's a big thing around head issues right now, concussions and everything. CTE is definitely a real thing, and you got to protect yourself in the long run. Tua does have a family; he's got kids, and there's a lot of life outside of football. And just another scary night for football, and disappointing for Tua. So,
well, see, I don't understand why he would go head first after his history of having a soft head. But number two, they brought in multiple sliding coaches to teach him to slide. And he didn't do it.
Yeah, you got to protect yourself there.
Yep. All right. Miles Brown. You know, I've said over and over again, I'm not picking on Saskatchewan, and I'm picking on this ass clown. This guy, from week 10 to week 14, has taken out 3 quarterbacks and almost took out a 4th. Then he's got the balls to talk to the media and say, I'm not a dirty player. You know what? Shut the fuck up. Your actions speak a lot louder. With the CFL quarterback rules are very simple. Nothing below the knees, nothing in the head, and if the official call is gone, hands off. He's had 2 hits to the head, 2 hits below the knees. Like, what is going on with, like, I understand he got fined again. Okay, so he's had 3 penalties called on him and 2 fines. On the slap,
Max fines too.
huh?
It was a max fine for
And
Miles Brown.
on the slap in the head against Kelly, no penalty, and that turned into the ball was picked off. The thing that I don't understand is that why is the league not holding him accountable? They were all over the command center saying, "Hey, you guys are doing too much. Knock it off." Who's on their ass for doing too little? I don't know who I'm supposed to be saying shame on here. If it's Brown, if it's the Saskatchewan coaches, or if it's the CFL. So I say, you know what? Shame on the whole fucking bunch of you. Aim higher and do better.
Yeah, Brady Oliveira did say that the last hit against Trevor didn't look like it would look like he kind of got pushed into him, but definitely got to look into.
He's got a history of it though now.
Definitely
It's a pattern. It's a pattern.
Aiden Hutchinson was playing for Detroit this past weekend. I was at the game, and he had 4.5 sacks. He was all over Baker Mayfield. But unfortunately for that Detroit defense, their play was not enough to stop them, and Detroit ended up losing the game.
Baker, the touchdown maker.
And the Bucks fall to Bucks go up to 2-0, which was a big win in that because that division now has the Saints at 2-0, the Bucks at 2-0, and the Atlanta Falcons at 1-1, and then you got the Carolina Panthers at 0-2. But
nobody owns 18. So
Aiden Hutchinson is the life of that city, and like I said, I was at that game, and you can feel everyone's wearing Hutchinson's jersey. He's the player of that team. He's a Michigan guy as well, so he went to Michigan, lived in Michigan, grew up in Michigan, and he lives, breathes, and eats, sleeps, breathes all Detroit football. And cool to see the young guy absolutely demolish. I can see him on pace to becoming, many more sacks this year, and maybe even potential defensive player of the year. He looked that impressive. So he was 1 sack short of the franchise record set by William Gay in 1983. But again, this Detroit team's exciting to watch, and watch out for their defense. Jared Goff, I wouldn't be too panicked if you're a Detroit Lions fan right now. They did go 1-1. But they did still look good. It was just a tough matchup against the Bucks. So Aiden Hutchinson, well done at 4.5 sacks, 5 total tackles. He's my OBSP Player of the Week.
We don't have one of those in the NFL. Okay, last topic.
UFC 306 was at the Sphere this past weekend as well. We did a little preview a couple weeks ago. This event broke multiple records, including highest grossing UFC event, highest grossing show at the Sphere, and most merchandise sold at a UFC event. Despite all of the positive aspects of this event, Dana White says it will not happen again. And why is that, you ask? That's because the UFC has a contract with MGM. MGM was not very happy that they were fighting at the Sphere. He was able to negotiate a one-off deal, which is what this whole thing is based around, to have the event held at the Sphere. And from what I've heard, the visuals were absolutely incredible. The sound was awesome. They had holograms. It just looked like a well done event, and it absolutely outdid all of its expectations. To get to the actual fights, I guess that would be the only thing that let down. There were 5 fights on the main card, all went to decision, so it was a late night. I think the event ended around 2 a.m.
Yep.
And the main event, Marav Devashali, I'm not saying that right, but I can never remember.
Takedown master.
Defeated Sugar Sean O'Malley by unanimous decision, and he became the new bantamweight champion. And the co-main event, Valentina Shevchenko defeated Alex Grasso, also by unanimous decision, to take the flyweight and end their rivalry, which was a trilogy. So yeah, like I said, 5 decisions on the main card. It was a late night, but other than that, besides the actual fights, the whole event was absolutely spectacular, I heard.
Yeah, and I would say that the 2 fights of the night were in the prelims.
Yeah.
I'm gonna butcher these names too. We got Esteban Ribovics over Daniel Zellber, and Ronaldo Rodriguez made a comeback against Odie Osborne.
Yeah.
Those were the fights.
Yeah.
Like in the prelims.
Yeah.
So
they also did a lot of it was Mexican Heritage Month or night, or so they did a lot of cool visuals of that. I think Rey Mysterio was at the fights as well, representing Mexico.
yeah,
So
that guy's everywhere.
yeah, he gave Dana White his mask. Yeah, but it was a cool bit of a slog. But other than that, absolute success. And I know Dana White has to say right now that this will not happen again. But I can see down the line.
He does whatever he wants.
They will host another event just because of how successful it was. Yeah. And they're, it's in Vegas, and a lot of the fights are based out of Vegas. So MGM, sorry guys, you got them right now, but
you're not keeping them.
Not keeping them for long. So yeah.
All right.
A little bit over there, but had to cover that UFC 306. I gotta watch one of these cards. I know John Jones is fighting at 308 or 309. That might be his last fight, so I might actually try and tune into one of those matches because I think they have them on our TV there that we can get. So
no, we have the prelims.
Prelims are on there.
Yeah.
So I know.
That's why I was able to watch the prelims.
Oh, you were able to catch them. Oh, nice. I know Michael Chandler and Conor McGregor were supposed to fight, but that's been called off now. So they'll be fighting different opponents going forward. So I don't know what broke down there, but yeah. So anyways, guys, that's another episode here. Podcast episode number 20 of our weekly series. If you like these videos, make sure you hit that like button and hit subscribe. We're at 175 subscribers as of recording this video, I think.
Close.
Almost there. Almost at 200. And that's all from you guys. So thank you very much. If you are subscribed, make sure you turn on the notifications. You check out all our videos. We've got our CFL podcast coming out later this week as well. That season's kind of at the tail end. A couple more weeks left before we hit the playoffs.
And now the excitement happens in that one.
And upsets all over the place. But we'll get into that later this week. So thanks again for watching, guys. And we'll see you next week for podcast episode number 21.
See you later.